Hey guys, welcome to episode 13 of Josh and Reid Are Parents. I'm Josh.
I'm Reid.
And
we're parents.
We're parents.
We still are.
We're parents in December, Reid.
In December.
It's Christmas time, baby.
It's Christmas time.
We got the decorations up. We got the stockings hung. Come on, man. We're doing it.
Look at you go. It's the best time of the year.
Best time of the year. It's definitely the easiest time to do podcasts and there's a lot of room and extra space for that.
Calendars are wide open.
Wide open. We're promised we're not doing this at 11:15 at night. We were talking about how I think our last one was in October. It's just there's been some things that have developed in our lives, and we're okay, but it's just I don't know, man. There was a lot to do. Reid, you guys have been dealing with some health stuff, is that right?
Yeah, but walking out with some health stuff. Had a surgery. Everybody's fine. Everything's good. On the backside of it now, which is exciting. Thankful for that.
For sure.
And so just it's been a crazy, since whenever October 13th or whatever. It's been a wild, 8 weeks, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
7 weeks. So yeah. Yeah, what about you? You got some big news going on in Atlanta.
Yeah, man. So I moved into my own counseling practice. I was with another group. I was with another group practice for a long time, for about 3 years, which I really appreciated and loved to be there. But I decided to spread my own wings. I also moved like an hour closer to my house, and to some of the places that we live and work. And so, yeah, dude, I have my own little office building, and I got a play card that says Thames Counseling on it. Like, I'm a real boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a real
that
dude.
That fits with our last little thing we did on masculinity. You're a real man now. So
I'm a real man.
Now that you own your own business, you can tell us what it's like to be a real man, because you didn't know before.
And that's actually what we came to say, is that's what this podcast is now. It's just me giving you business advice. So you're welcome. No, I'm just kidding.
Step one.
So, as a matter of fact, if you guys wouldn't mind emailing me all your business,
the fourfold plan.
If you could help me understand how to actually run a small business, that'd be great. But no, we're out here, we're doing it, we're making that happen. It's actually really exciting. I feel really good about it. I feel really, I don't know, maybe even led and purposeful in it. So I'm really pretty excited about it.
Super pumped from Abilene for you.
Yeah, dude. That's one of the hardest things. That's one of the hardest things about this for Reid and I, is that number one, we're just good buddies, and we get to hang out this way because we're just so far away from each other. It's just hard to we don't get to see each other very much. And
I don't know if anybody knows how far Abilene is from anything. But especially from if you're trying to get to the southeast. Like the fact that there's, Oklahoma and Texas are in the Southeastern Conference now is bonkers to me, because I now live in West Texas, and I'm like, that's not close. They need to rebrand the name. They need to rename it. Anyway, we're really getting off. Yeah, I'm with
you though. Yeah. I turned 40 in 2024, and then made the really poor decision to drive to Dallas and back for Thanksgiving. Man, I used to do that all the time when I went to college. I'm telling you, man. Reid,
how many hours is it to Dallas?
Well, it depends on how many times I have to stop and pee on the way.
On a fast trip. Let's say it's
a fast trip. When I was 19, I could rock and roll to Dallas from Atlanta to I could do 10 hours. Yeah. I'd be going too fast, and I'd be not stopping at all, but I'd be going, and we'd be getting there.
What was it now at 40?
It was a good 13.
Yeah.
Right. Extra 3 hours, I think. I had to stop and stretch my legs at Target just to breathe again.
When we drive from here back to Nashville to see family, Henry in the backseat will be asking, where are we? We are still in Texas. For the foreseeable future, the answer is going to be in the state of Texas. It's just so big.
And the thing that's really hard about that, bud, is after Texas is just Arkansas, and that's the worst.
It's the worst.
There are parts of Arkansas that are beautiful, but the part between on I-30 is the worst.
And you hit that, you cross that border, and immediately, you've hit Arkansas. They aren't doing their work on 30. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Oh man. Yeah. Reid and I came into this episode really wanting to keep a nice 20 to 25. I don't know if we're gonna do it, but we're gonna give effort. We liked last time, and if you haven't heard episode 11 and 12, we kind of walked through some things. We're gonna switch it up.
Yeah.
We're gonna do some different things, and
It's been long enough. We can talk whatever we want.
yeah, we do whatever we want. It's our podcast, right?
Hey, it's our world.
But we are going to try to set up some things for 2025 and kind of moving into it. Reid and I are going to do some really exciting things coming up, man. We're going to share that stuff with you as we come through. But
You have some exciting stuff.
we're going to do some neat things. I'm super excited because I'm actually going to get to hang out with them in person. We're going to do some cool stuff, so that's going to be great. One of the questions, though, Reid, that we're gonna pose to each other today, and then pose to you guys, our listeners, over the next few weeks, is this question, and I really like it. What is it that you've forgotten about what it's like to be a kid? What is it that you've forgotten about what it's like to be a kid? I don't know. What do you think about that question?
Yeah, I love this question. I love that it forces me into the negative space in my brain that I know that there is all kinds of stuff in there that I imagine it like Inside Out, right? Where there's that bottom layer of just all these old dusty memories that I could recall, but pretty soon if I don't recall them, they're going to get taken into the depths of no return or whatever. I don't know what they actually call it, but
no, but that movie is so helpful in so many ways, right?
It's such a beautiful image of like my brain kind of works like this. And and yeah, for me, my immediate reaction has to do with the fact that I'm 6'3" and I haven't been in a crowd that I can't see over in a very long time. And it seems really surface level at first because it kind of is. But I don't remember what it was like to feel small. In really any way. And so I think in my parenting that shows up in a lot of ways where Henry as a 6-year-old is a small person and I don't know what my active brain doesn't know what that's like. I can't imagine feeling that small.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it makes me I don't know, not necessarily unkind, but sometimes impatient or maybe unkind too sometimes, where just being that small can bring up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like feeling unseen or unheard and those sorts of things. And so it's been a long time since I've had to feel that.
Yeah.
How
Dude,
about you?
I really like this question too. And like the reality is, like I think what I'm looking forward to, I'm really excited about with this question is that I think that if I sit with this question for a while and let it wash over me a little bit, and maybe even talk to other people about this question, I think there'll be things that I don't know that I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of neat is begin to recognize like I don't know what I've forgotten. Right. There are things though that I can get into if I try really hard to remember. Right. If I really let myself remember things. I'm a pretty anxious guy right now. People always tell me, Reid, like especially people that have met me over the last 5-6 years, that like I don't present as that very well, which I appreciate because I've worked my tail off to not present like that. Right. Worked pretty hard at that. But I was an anxious kid. I've been anxious kind of like my whole life. It's just been a part of probably my genetics. And but I remember specifically the things that would stress me out when I was a little kid. When like if I really let myself remember that are just new things. Yeah. Right. Things that I had not experienced before. And it was like, and I think about how that's something I've forgotten because I don't really experience that like that anymore. Right. I've had new experiences. I've had cool things happen to me. I've gone places I've never been before. But like the idea of like really experiencing something like I really like in a really brand new way is something I kind of even long for because like as a 40-year-old, you have to really kind of be intentional about creating those experiences for yourself, right? Like like the day-to-day like monotony of our lives doesn't really, which by the way, I think we've worked really hard to create like what we call stability, so we don't necessarily have to continually encounter new things.
Yeah, right.
Right. So like we've done this to ourselves, but I remember when I was a little kid, when something new was coming, like I was anticipating like this new thing or this experience I was about to have that I never experienced before. I would get really, really excited and just really stressed out, right? Wanting to be able to see in my mind what I was about to experience. And I remember kind of the adults around me who loved me and cared about me. They weren't being like flippant. They were just be like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, we're just going to go to this place and you're going to experience it. It's going to be okay. Like, we're not going to take you anywhere that you're going to be like in danger. But in my head, I was like, but what's it like? What am I going to
Yeah.
see there? What am I going to do there? What do I have to be prepared for?
Right. I'm not worried about imminent danger.
What do I have to be prepared for? Right.
Yes.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I remember feeling that really,
Mm.
really deeply when I was a kid, like, which is something I have to really work to get
Yeah.
to, right?
Yeah.
Because that feeling doesn't rise up immediately. But one of the things it does is I think one of the things that I can be reminded of is I can see that in Jonas,
Mm.
right? And that, like, he experiences it differently than me, but like he also, like, he turned 9, and like when we talk about this new thing or this thing that he's about to experience, even if it's something that is exciting or good for him, like I can see a stress level rising in him, right? Being like
Yeah.
almost trying to explain to me and reminding me, like, I'm just 8, I'm just 9, I don't have context, I don't have
Yeah.
enough life.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is about to be.
Yeah.
And me really like being aware of like that feeling is like
Mm.
great and scary.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a helpful thing for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. The depth of like forgetting how hard those everyday things are
Mhm.
of just walking into rooms or attending rooms that are big and loud.
Right.
That for me as an adult are like, yeah, this is fine. And that's part of mine. Like, right. Like I don't have a hard time walking into church with 800 people.
Sure.
It's fine. Like I've
That's
done
what
it
we
so
do.
many times that it's never hard for me at this point.
Mhm.
Um, but I can remember a time if I pull it up on my brain where we were running late to church in the middle of 5 kids. We were late and we were trying to get to the early service. And instead of walking in and sitting in the back, we walked in and walked all the way to the front and sat down. And I just remember this like overwhelmed shutdown type mode
Yeah.
and you're like, and just those things that stick with you that we joke about it still sometimes, but like,
Sure.
but I don't remember that feeling unless I pull it back out. Or we make fun of it so we don't have to remember the feeling of
Right.
that
Right.
feeling everybody's eyes just tracking you when you're that small. And yeah.
Yeah.
And so for Henry, it's different. Like he's very comfortable at church, but there are times where he's like, "Hey, can we go do this?" I'm like, "Well, actually, we need we're in here." He's like, "No, I want to go. I want to go out there." I'm like, "No, we're not going out there right
Sure.
now." So just like being in the space is still, and sometimes it's loud, and he's anyway that sort of stuff. So
Yeah. Absolutely. I think one of the things about this question, which I really appreciate, is that like it is not accusatory. Like, it's not like, what have you
right,
forgotten? Because we were talking about this before we got on. Like, our brains do this on purpose.
yeah,
They intentionally forget the things that aren't easy to remember or that are hurtful or scary or painful or whatever. They push those aside, and it's a feature.
mm,
It's like helpful, right? Like, it's so you don't have
great,
to carry the weight of constantly feeling afraid of new things or dealing with the things that are
yeah,
just weird as a kid.
mm,
I think honestly, I think we would have much less people in the world if everyone really, really remembered what it was like to have a newborn. Do you know what I'm saying?
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Like even like pregnant women like deciding like they're going to do this again. Like that kind of stuff. Like, I think we forget, and I
mm,
think we're supposed to.
yeah,
I think we like our brain has intended that, and so this is not something that's like necessarily a bad thing. But I do think it's a helpful question for us as we approach like how do we
absolutely,
parent our kids.
yeah, yeah. It's like somebody wrote it in pencil and they've erased it. You can still see it,
Yeah.
but it's erased.
Yeah.
And so there, I might look on it with a different set of eyes now. And yeah, and so I love this question um, because the more that I can remember that feeling or
Mhm.
that it those the not only the hard things, the good things too, but
Sure.
especially when things are hard, so that I don't dismiss them when they do show up in conversation with my 6 year old who's like, whether it's a hard thing at school or or at home. But
Yeah.
just actually like remembering what that was like can put me in a different headspace for those conversations instead of being like, "Oh, you're fine, man. Like,
Right.
it's normal. That's normal kid stuff. You're fine." Just like slough it, no, move on. Like, yeah, okay, take this, take in the other room. Um, and that's not what I'm actually doing, but sometimes I think I accidentally do that.
Yeah, that might be how like the unintended message that we're sending.
Right. Yeah.
I
And
think
then, yeah. Or how does he interpret
right.
that? Yeah.
I think for me, I think you're saying this in another way. Like it just remembering and allowing myself to have the framework and the lens that being a kid is just a lot, man. And sometimes it's really hard,
Yeah.
right? And I think sometimes we look at our kids without that level of compassion. And I think it's really unhelpful to us and to them. You
Mhm.
know, like being 9 and being 12 and being 15 and being 18, some beautiful, wonderful, amazing things about it. I think a lot of times we long for it in some ways,
Mhm.
right? How
Yeah.
like just for somebody else to just take care of me and to just like not have the pressures and all those things. Like there's something we long for, but like we also the reason we long for it so badly is because we've forgotten that being a 9-year-old is hard, man, and scary and weird and
Yeah.
it's tough, you know? And I think if we can really like kind of put ourselves back in that and really remember some of the like the
Mhm.
dang, this is not an easy thing. I think it might help us be able to like work through hard moments with our kids in a maybe a little bit easier way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe at least more productive way.
Hmm. That's
Um,
helpful.
I don't know. So what expect this, our dear listeners, we're coming your way. So like you can go ahead and just like do the thing we're asking you to do and just be really compliant. And just send us a voice note about like what you have forgotten what it's like to be a kid, or
Yep.
we're gonna hunt you down. We're gonna come and do it. We're gonna
Yep.
make you do it for us anyway. So it's really up to you guys. It's
We
it's
will
inevitable.
we will choose violence.
Yeah, yeah, we are inevitable. Like it's on its way. So you choose how you would like to encounter this question.
I'm
It's
going to
either with
proceed with this
us
question.
or you do it on your own. But
Yeah.
yeah, expect us to come and kind of head towards people that we would like to hear this from.
Yeah.
It'd
Get
be
that voice memo ready to go.
that's right.
I'm going to want it.
Post
Like,
it
you
up,
want
man.
to send it. That'd be great.
Maybe even like you could work it through a few different times, make it sound really poetic. Everyone will think you're
Oh,
really
yeah. I like
smart,
that. I like
you
that.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds
Yeah.
fantastic.
But we would love to hear your answers to these questions. We'll put it on Instagram, probably YouTube as well.
For sure.
All of our cool socials. And just would love to kind of like think through this question because I think what's neat about this question too, Reed, is I think it'll send us in a few directions. Right. I think
Yeah.
it'll open up some new questions, some topics that we can explore, and that seems
Yeah.
pretty neat too.
Yeah. The beauty of a good question.
I think we're setting ourselves up for a really cool 2025, bro.
I'm excited about it.
No doubt
Big
about it,
stuff
man.
on the way.
Dude, that's episode 13 right there, my man.
Yes. We did it.
Oh man, we're just rolling right downhill. Things about to take off. I can feel it.
Let's do it.
Good to see you, Reed. Thanks, friends. We'll talk to you
You
guys soon.
too.